All the celebrities in the city were waiting secretly to laugh at Zhang Li. She had been married to Huo Ju, the powerful president of the Huo Group, for 3 full years. She had an outstanding appearance and a well-matched family background, enjoying the honorable status of the young madam of the top wealthy Huo family. However, she had never conceived a child in 3 years, with no sign of pregnancy at all. Childless for years, she became the target of gossip and ridicule in the upper-class circle. Everyone firmly believed that Zhang Li suffered from congenital infertility and was unable to carry on the Huo family's ancestral line. The Huo family had only one male heir for 3 consecutive generations, and the continuation of the family bloodline was the top priority of the whole clan. The elderly old master of the Huo family was eager to hold a grandson and could no longer wait. He issued a strict order to force all members of the Huo family to take a special physical examination without exception. To avoid favoritism and block all idle gossip, he specially invited notaries to supervise the whole process on the spot. Ostensibly, it was named a special screening for eugenics and better prenatal and postnatal care. In secret, he harbored ulterior calculations, only wanting to obtain official ironclad evidence of Zhang Li's infertility. Once the examination result was confirmed, he could force Zhang Li to abdicate voluntarily and make way for the White Moonlight, who had long been rumored to be pregnant with Huo Ju's child, safeguarding the dignity of the Huo family and the legitimate bloodline of the clan. In the closed and exclusive VIP conference room, the air was stagnant and depressive, so heavy that people could hardly breathe. All relatives of the Huo family present held their breath and did not dare to speak a word. Mother-in-law was filled with uncontrollable joy of getting her wish fulfilled soon. She tightly held the fully sealed official physical examination report in her hand, with undisguised satisfaction in her eyes, planning to oust Zhang Li and support the White Moonlight to take the upper positions soon. She pretended to be kind, putting pressure on Zhang Li under false pretenses. Every word she said focused on the inheritance of the Huo family's bloodline, claiming that she did not mean to target her daughter-in-law deliberately, but the foundation of the Huo family's offspring could not be broken. If the physical examination finally confirmed that Zhang Li had inherent fertility problems, there would be no need to maintain this legal wealthy marriage any longer. As soon as she finished speaking, she tore open the special sealing strip of the report in public and waited for the expected result. Sitting opposite all the time, Huo Ju wore a cold and indifferent expression all the time. He casually stroked and played with his high-end customized cufflinks, looking distant and cold. In his eyes, Zhang Li, who was about to be publicly sentenced to marital death and pressured to leave by the whole family, was just an irrelevant and insignificant subordinate. He also waited silently in his heart, waiting for the infertility certificate to be issued, so as to get a perfect divorce reason without any criticism from the whole city and get rid of this loveless commercial marriage completely. However, the reversal came unexpectedly and shocked everyone in an instant. When mother-in-law clearly saw the core conclusion on the report, the proud smile that had been brewing on her face froze completely in an instant. The blood faded rapidly from her face, turning livid and extremely ugly. Filled with extreme astonishment, Huo Ju urged sharply in impatience, ordering the result to be read out on the spot immediately. Flustered and nervous, mother-in-law's fingers trembled out of control, and the whole thick physical examination report drifted directly to the center of the precious mahogany conference table. Under the dense professional medical test data, a bold and black official conclusion was extremely dazzling. Was like a loud and heavy slap in the face, smashing all the wishful calculations of the Huo family and tearing off every onus hypocritical disguise. The full results of the comprehensive gynecological in-depth special examination showed that Zhang Li's hymen was intact, and there was no trace of real married sexual life in her body. With just one sentence, all previous predictions were overturned and all conspiracies shattered. The conference room fell into dead silence in an instant, so quiet that a needle dropping on the ground could be heard clearly. Embarrassment and astonishment spread everywhere. Faced with the tense atmosphere, Zhang Li weakly raised her hand to smooth things over, awkwardly explaining that it was probably a rare special individual medical difference, trying her best to leave a little dignity for the Huo family and Huo Ju. The surrounding air was piercingly cold and terribly quiet. Mother-in-law's face changed several times in succession, from red with anger to pale with shock, then to livid black, and finally settled into an indescribable dark tone. Her lips opened and unclosed several times, wanting to speak but saying nothing. She glanced back and forth between Zhongli and Huoju repeatedly, and finally only extremely complicated emotions remained in her eyes. The look was exactly the way people looked at men with physical disabilities and incompetence. Overwhelmed with rage, the old master of the Huo family smashed his precious purple clay teapot heavily on the ground with a clang. Hot tea splashed everywhere, but he felt no burning pain at all. He only pointed at Huo Ju with trembling thin fingers, stammering and questioning incoherently, asking what had happened in the past 3 years and why the Huo family's inheritance had fallen into such a predicament. Huo Ju's face was extremely ugly, livid and black, filled with surging hostility. He stared fixedly at the physical examination report, as if it was not a medical document, but a notice completely ruining his dignity. He denied it abruptly and, in a low voice, stood up abruptly and knocked over the chair. The metal chair legs rubbed against the ground and made a harsh, sharp sound. He gritted his teeth and spoke with cold bitterness, mentioning the crucial night 3 years ago. Everyone present held their breath instantly and pricked up their ears to wait for the follow-up. Everyone in the Huo family knew clearly that on the 80th birthday banquet of Huo Ju's grandfather 3 years ago, Huo Ju got drunk and lost his senses. After that, he had a relationship with Zhang Li by force. It was precisely because of this night's fate that Zhang Li was able to marry into the Huo family smoothly and secure the position of the young madam. Everyone thought that although Huo Ju did not love Zhang Li, he had always been responsible and trustworthy, and must have had real marital relations with her long ago. However, the ironclad physical examination report directly exposed all illusions and slapped everyone hard. The so-called sense of responsibility was just a joke. For 3 years, Huo Ju had never approached his wife, never touched her even once. In an instant, countless curious, sympathetic and gossipy eyes focused on Huo Ju like dazzling searchlights, privately guessing and whispering, secretly confirming the rumor that he was physically defective and incapable. Furious and irritable, Huo Ju forcibly suppressed his rage, snatched the physical examination report, and the veins on the back of his hands bulged. He shouted angrily that the hospital equipment was faulty and insisted on a comprehensive secondary examination immediately. The hospital dean beside him was sweating coldly, bowed tremblingly and replied respectfully, repeatedly confirming that the equipment used was the top medical configuration in the whole city. 3 senior attending physicians reviewed the results crosswise in sequence to ensure absolute accuracy. Zhang Li was indeed a virgin without any mistake in the report. Huo Ju froze all over, turned his head, and stared at Zhang Li fiercely with bloodshot, hostile eyes. The overwhelming sense of oppression swept over, and he asked sharply if she had anything to explain. Zhang Li was instantly frightened, shrank her neck like a quail targeted by a ferocious beast, and chose to remain silent out of survival instinct. She knew clearly in her heart that in the 3 years of marriage, Huo Ju was busy with social engagements and cross-border projects all day long, went out early and returned late, and was away from home all year round. When he returned home, he either lived alone in the study to handle official business or slept in the guest room. Even if they occasionally slept in the master bedroom together, they turned their backs to each other all night, with an insurmountable boundary between them. She had also mistakenly thought that they had real relations after drinking that night. The red mark on the sheet in the morning was regarded as blood after the bridal night, and the general soreness and discomfort of the whole body were regarded as normal reactions afterwards. Later, she realized that the red mark was nosebleed caused by staying up late and getting angry, and the soreness was just stiff neck, caused by drinking and catching cold. But looking at Huo Ju's furious and out-of-control appearance, she did not dare to explain the truth, for fear of confirming his humiliating reputation of being incompetent. Helpless, She could only make far-fetched excuses, claiming that her physical constitution was special or the current medical judgment standards had been updated. Her pale remarks made the surrounding relatives cough, suppressed lie, and hold back laughter secretly, making the scene extremely awkward. Would you force down the anger enough to overturn the whole venue? Grabbed Zhang Li's wrist and left in big strides. His strength was so fierce that he almost crushed her bones with the embarrassed and decisive back. Passing by mother-in-law, Zhang Li clearly heard her uttering in a low voice, lamenting that the Huo family was doomed to have no descendants. She finally figured out the truth why Huoju worked overtime and did not go home all year round. He was avoiding medical treatment and deliberately evading his own physical shortcomings. Huoju stumbled and almost fell down in public, completely losing his dignity. Back in the luxury car on the return trip, the air pressure in the carriage was extremely low. The driver held his breath and wished he could shrink himself into the steering wheel. Cold air permeated around Huoju, and he kept silent all the way, tapping his knees repeatedly with his fingers. Extremely irritable, Dong Li tried to comfort him carefully, but was coldly interrupted and ordered to shut up. Bored, Zhang Li secretly took out her mobile phone and searched online how to comfort a husband who was misunderstood as physically incompetent by the whole family. The top reply suggested taking practical actions directly to break the rumor with facts. Zhang Li silently turned off her phone, looking at Huoju's gloomy and cold expression, only feeling that he just wanted to silence her at the moment, with no intention of being intimate at all.